She said something about that there was like thousands of hours of tapes of people doing horrible crimes.
Donald Trump seems to sense that the Epstein case is a genuine threat to him. You can see that in the rapidly escalating tone with which he's tried to get people to back off, to move on from it.
I don't understand why the Jeffrey Epstein case would be of interest to anybody. It's pretty boring stuff. It's sordid, but it's boring. And I don't understand why it keeps going.
Trump's failure to deliver on the Epstein files goes right to the core of his brand, of his appeal to voters. A lot of people voted for this guy because they thought all the other politicians had been lying to them for years. They thought he was going to go in and expose the lies and sweep away the cover-ups. To now have it seem as though Trump is in on the cover-up directly undermines that brand. It destroys the rationale those people had for making him president in the first place. If he's just going to behave like any other politician, keeping things from the public, what exactly is the point of him? That is why you have prominent voices in the MAGA movement and among conspiracy theorists and among the more libertarian-minded people who are now saying essentially, WTF.
The official story that we've been hearing for years and years now is preposterous.
President Trump, I just don't know what to say about him right now.
Kash Patel said there's nothing you're looking for. Oh, okay. Okay. I mean, what am I going to do? I'm going to push back.
Right. No, of course. I
obviously, he's saying what he has to say.
We've seen a splintering of the different factions within the MAGA movement, the factions that ultimately won Donald Trump last year's election. You have the traditional Republicans, most members of Congress, legacy media outlets, which were initially hostile to Trump when he ran for president the first time, but fell in line once he claimed the Republican nomination and have remained pretty solid for him ever since. That group is largely acting like it doesn't particularly care about the Epstein case at all. You have the alt-right types. These folks have always been into conspiracy theories, and a lot of them are very angry about those new Epstein developments, and they're speaking out publicly against Trump. And finally, we have the broadcasters. That's what we do tend to call them. People like Joe Rogan, like Andrew Schultz. These guys were not MAGA from the beginning in 2016. They're not really conservative at all. Most of them are more libertarian-ish, and they were a big factor in getting young men to turn out and vote for Trump last year. Most of these guys are pretty baffled by the Epstein backflip, and some of them have already taken to not just criticizing Trump for it, but mocking him. Trump's ceiling in terms of his popularity has never been particularly high. He has rarely ever registered even a 50% approval rating, but his floor of support has also always been high. His ratings never really dropped below the high 30s. The reason for that is the immovable nature of his base, of the core MAGA movement. No previous scandal, no previous screw-up has managed to dislodge those people. If the Epstein backflip is seen as an unforgivable betrayal by one of the factions in Trump's base, then you could at last see his ratings fall to new depths. That said, the man cannot legally run for president again, so we're not talking about a threat to his political career or anything like that. We're more talking about a potential sapping of Trump's authority as president, and the potential for members of his party, the Republicans, to be tarred by him in next year's midterm elections, which will decide the balance of power in Congress. There have been reports that senior members of the Trump administration are essentially at each other's throats over this Epstein saga. Attorney General Pam Bondi has copped the most flack. She is the one who said the Epstein client list was sitting on her desk a few months ago. That list obviously never existed, according to the government now. And on the other side, you have two guys Trump chose to run the FBI, Director Kash Patel and Deputy Director Dan Bongino. You essentially have a bunch of people here who used the Epstein case as a bludgeon against the Democrats for several years and made promises about what would happen once they won power. And in Bondi's case, made further promises after winning power. Those people all now either look like liars or idiots, having failed to deliver. And in that situation, the apportioning of blame always becomes a high priority.